Lord Loss, Chapter 2, Demons, by Darren Shan. Blood everywhere, nightmarish, splashes and gory pools, wild streaks across the floor and walls. Except the walls aren't walls. I'm surrounded on all sides by webs, millions of strands thicker than my arm, some connecting in orderly designs, others running chaotically apart. Many of the strands are stained with blood. Behind the layer of webs, more layers, banks of them stretching back as far as I can see. Infinite. My eyes snap from the walls. I make quick, mental thumbnails of the other details, numb, functioning like a machine. The dripping sound, a body hanging upside down from the webby ceiling in the center of the room. No head. Blood drops to the floor from the gaping red O of the neck. Even without the head, I recognize him. "Dad!" I scream, and the cry almost rips my vocal cords apart. To my left, an obscene creature spins round and snarls. It has the body of a very large dog and the head of a crocodile. Beneath it, motionless, Mom, or what's left of her. A dreadful howl to my right. Gret, sitting on the floor, staring at me, weaving sideways, her face white except where it's smeared with blood. I start to call to her. She half turns and I realize that she's been split in two. Something's behind her in the cavity at the back, moving her like a hand puppet, or something. Pushes Gret away. It's a child, but no child of this world. It has the body of a 3-year-old, with a head much larger than any normal person's. Pale green skin, no eyes. A small ball of fire flickers in each of its empty sockets. No hair, yet its head is alive with movement. As the hell child advances, I see the objects on its head are cockroaches, living, feeding on its rotten flesh. The crocodile dog moves away from Mom and also closes in on me, exchanging glances with the monstrous child, who's narrowing the gap. I can't move. Fear has seized me completely. I look from Mom to Dad to Gret, all red, all dead. Impossible. This isn't happening. A bad dream, it must be. But even in my very worst nightmare, I never imagined anything like this. I know that it's real simply because it's too awful not to be. The creatures are almost upon me. The croc dog growls hungrily. The child grins ghoulishly and raises its hands. There are mouths in both of its palms, small, full of sharp teeth, no tongues. "Oh dear," someone says, and the creatures stop within spitting distance. What have we here? A man slides out from behind a clump of webby strands, thin, pale red skin, misshapen, lumpy as though made out of colored dough. His hands are mangled, bones sticking out of the skin, one finger melting into another, bald, strange eyes, no white, just a dark red iris, and an even darker pupil. There's a gaping, jagged hole in the left side of his chest. I can look clean through it. Inside the hole, snakes. Dozens of tiny, hissing, coiled serpents with long, curved fangs. Hellchild shrieks and reaches towards me. The teeth in its small mouths are eagerly snapping open and shut. "Stop, artery," the monster says commandingly, and steps towards me. No, he doesn't step. He glides. He has no feet. The lumpy flesh of his lower legs ends in sharp strips that don't touch the floor. He's hovering in the air. The croc dog barks savagely, its reptilian eyes alive with hunger and hate. "Hold, Vane," the monster orders. He advances to within touching distance of me, stops and studies me with his unnatural red eyes. He has a small mouth with white lips. He looks sad, the saddest creature I've ever seen. "You are Grubbs," he says morosely. "The last of the Gradys. You should not be here. Your parents wish to spare you this heartache. Why did you come? I can't answer. My body isn't my own, except my eyes, which don't stop roaming and analyzing, even though I want them to easier to shut off completely and black everything out. The Hellchild makes a guttural sound and reaches for me again. Disobey me at your peril, Artery, the monster says softly. The barbaric baby drops its hands and shuffles backwards, the fire in its eyes dimming. The croc dog retreats too, both keeping their sights on me. Such sadness, the monster sighs, and there's genuine pity in his tone. Parents, dead. Sister, dead. All alone in the world, face to face with demons. No idea who we are or why we're here. He pauses, and doubt crosses his expression. You don't know, do you, Grubbs? Nobody ever explained or told you the story of the lonely Lord Lost? I still can't answer, but he reads the ignorance in my eyes and smiles thinly, painfully. I thought not, he says. They sought to protect you from the cruelties of the world. Good, loving parents. You'll miss them, Grubbs. Not for long. The creatures to my left and right make sick, chuckling sounds. Your sorrow shall be short-lived. Within minutes, I'll set my familiars upon you, and all will soon finish. There will be pain, great pain, but then the total peace of the beyond death will come as a blessing. Grubbs, you will welcome it in the end, as your parents and sister did. The monster drifts around me. I realize he has no nose, just two large holes above his upper lip. He sniffs as he passes, and I somehow understand that he's smelling my fear. Poor Grubbs, he mutters, stopping in front of me again. This close, I can see that his red skin is broken by tiny cracks, seeping with drops of blood. I also notice several appendages beneath his arms, 3 on either side, folded around his stomach. They look like thin, extra arms, though they might just be oddly molded layers of flesh. What are you? I moan, forcing the words out between my chattering teeth. The beginning and the end of your greatest sorrows, the monster replies. He says it plainly, not a boast. Mom, I gasped. Gone, he whispers, shaking his head, blood oozing from the cracks in his neck. Remember them, Grubbs. Recall the golden memories. Cherish them in these, your final moments. Cry for them, Grubbs. Give me your tears. He smiles eagerly, and his right hand reaches for my face. He brushes his mashed together fingers across my left cheek, just beneath my eye, as though trying to charm tears from me. The touch of his skin, moist, tough, sticky, repels me without thinking. I turn my back on the hell of my parents' bedroom and run. Behind me, the monster chuckles darkly, clears his throat, and says, Vein, Artery, he's yours. With vile, vicious howls of delight, the creatures give chase. The landing, growls and grinding teeth getting closer every second. Almost upon me. My legs slip. I sprawl to the floor. Something flies overhead and collides with the wall at the top of the stairs. The croc dog, Vein. Tiny hand snags on my left ankle. Artery's teeth close on the cuff of my jeans. I pull away and instinctively, ripping a long strip of material torn clean away. No damage to my leg. Artery rolls backwards, choking on the denim. The Vein scrambles to its feet, shaking its elongated crocodile's head. My eyes fix on its legs. They don't end in dog paws, but in tiny human hands with long, blood-stained, splintering nails. A woman's. I wiggle past Vein on my stomach and drag myself down the stairs, gasping with terror. Out of the corner of my eye, I spy Artery spitting out the denim, jumping to his feet, rushing after me. Vein crouches at the top of the stairs, reptilian eyes furious, reading herself, to pounce. Just as she leaps, Artie crashes into her. Vane yelps as her companion accidentally crushes her against the wall. Artie wails like a baby, kicks Vane out of the way, and totters down the stairs in pursuit of me. My hands hit floor. I lurch to my feet and start for the front door. I've got a lead on Artery. He's still on the stairs, going to make it. A few more strides and something brushes between my legs at an incredible speed. There's a sharp clattering sound. The door shakes. At its base, Artery rights himself and grins at me. The grotesque hellchild is rubbing his right shoulder where he collided with the door. The fire in his eyes burns brighter than ever. His mouth is wide and twisted, no tongue, just a gaping, blood-red maw. I scream incoherently at Artery, then grab the telephone from its stand, the closest object at hand, and lob it with all of my strength at the demon. Artery ducks sharply. Unbelievably, the telephone smashes through the door, ending up in the street outside. I have no time to ponder this impossible feat of strength. Artery, momentarily disoriented, Vane's only halfway down the stairs. I can escape if I act quickly. Making a sharp turn, I dive for the kitchen and the back door. Artery reads my intentions and bellows at Vane. The croc dog leaps from the stairs and sails for my face and throat. I bring up an arm and swat her away. Vane's nails catch on my arm, ripping through the material of my shirt, and make 3 deep gouges in the flesh of my forearm. Yelling with pain, I kick out at the demon's crocodile head. My foot hits it just beneath the tip of its snout. Vane's head snaps back. She tumbles away with a grunt. I don't stop to check on Artery. I burst through to the kitchen and throw myself at the door. My fingers tighten on the handle. I twist the wrong way, reverse the movement. A click, the door opens and slams shut again as Artery rams it. The force of the demon banging into the door knocks me aside. I roll out of harm's immediate way. When I sit up, Artery has recovered and is standing in front of the door, legs and arms spread, 3 sets of teeth glinting in the glow of the red light cast by the fire in his eyeless sockets. I back away on my knees from the green-skinned hellchild. Stop, growling to my rear. A panicked glance, Vane closing in, blocking my retreat. I'm caught between them, Artery smiling. He knows I'm finished. The cockroaches topple from his head, lands on its back, rights itself, and starts to scuttle away. Artie steps on the roach and crushes it, holds his foot up to me so that I can see the insect's smeared remains, laughs evilly. A snapping sound behind me, the stench of blood and decay. Vane almost upon me. Artery hisses. He wants to join in the bloodshed, but he's wary. Won't desert his post. Better to stay and watch Vane kill me, than go for the kill himself and leave the door unguarded. I sense the demon's fear of the one upstairs. He called them to his familiars. That means he's their master. Vane butts me in the back with her leathery snout, growls throatily. It's over. I'm finished. Dead like Mom and Dad and... No, I roar, startling the demons. My thoughts flash on the telephone smashing through the sturdy wood of the front door, and Artery, and the speed with which he moved. My eyes fixed on the dog flap, much too small to fit through, but I don't think of that. I focus only on escape. I bring my legs up, come to a half crouch, propel myself at the dog flap as Vane snaps from me with her teeth. I fly through the air, faster than any human should or could. The fire in Artery's sockets flares. With alarm, the demon snaps his tiny legs together. Too late. Before they close, I'm through, fingers pushing the dog flap out the way. Arms, body, legs following, shrieks and howls behind, but they can't harm me now. I'm flying, outside, free. Soaring, arms spread like wings, exhilaration, magic, momentary delight. I feel invincible like a smash. The backyard fence cuts short my flight. I hit the ground hard, come up groaning and wheezing. Right elbow cut where I rocketed off the rough wood of the fence. Woozy, I stagger to my feet. Feel sick. I remember the demons. My eyes snap to the dog flap. I turn to run, then stop. No sign of them. Ordinary night silence. They aren't following. I stare at the dog flap, tiny, then at my arms and legs. The 3 red ravines gouged out by vein, my shirt and jeans ripped from where the demon snagged me. My left shoe missing. It must have come off mid-flight. But otherwise, I'm unharmed. No way. Even if the dog flap had been bigger, I couldn't have dived through it at that speed without scraping myself raw. How did any questions die? Unvoiced as I recall the horror show of the bedroom. Mom, I sob, staggering towards the back door. I pause with my hand on the handle. Almost turn it. Can't. I get down on my knees, cautiously poke open the dog flap, peer into the kitchen. No demons, but the many bloody prints on the tiles are proof I didn't imagine the chase. On my feet again, I try to enter. Again, I can't bring myself to do it. The memory's too terrifying. The demons too threatening. If I could help my family, perhaps it would be different. But they're dead. All of them. And I have too much sense, or not enough courage, to risk my life for a trio of corpses. Stepping back from the door, I stare up at the house. It looks like all the others from the outside. No webs, no blood, normal walls and windows. Gret, I mutter mindlessly. I never said sorry for the rat guts. I think about that for a moment. Stunned, sluggish, then I raise my face, open my mouth, and scream. It's a wordless scream, pure hatred, pure sorrow. It builds from somewhere deep within me and bursts forth with the same impossible force I summoned when lobbing the telephone at Artery and diving through the dog flap. The glass in the windows shatter and explodes inward, ripping curtains to shreds, littering floors with jagged, transparent shards. The glass in the houses to either side also explode, and in the nearby cars and street lamps, I scream as long as I can. Perhaps a full minute, without pause, then lapse into a silence, and all-encompassing as the scream. It's an isolated silence, almost solid. No sounds trickle out, and none penetrate. After a while, people emerge from the neighboring houses, shaken, making their cautious way to the source of the insane howl. I see their mouths moving, but I don't hear their questions or their cries when they enter my house and come racing out shortly after. Faces white, eyes filled with terror. I'm in a world of my own, a world of webs and blood, demons and corpses, nightmares and terror. The name of the world, from this night on, home.